This video is made for adult collectors because I woke up this morning with a stomach ache. Wasn't fun. We interrupt this video and move my headphones and Bumblebee out of the way to bring you breaking news. A box arrived. 6 pieces. It says 6 pieces on the side. Okay. I think I just hit one of the items in the box with the knife. Oh my lord. Okay. So, we have, it's kind of fitting, Transformers 1 Shockwave. Move. Transformers 1 Soundwave. My dog barking. Ironhide. We have Bumblebee and Starscream. Well, all of this just arrived. Ironhide fell over. All of that just arrived. What the hell? Well, I know what I'm doing this weekend. Blokees out here making more Transformers 1 stuff to fill that gap as they're making characters no one else has. We've gotten our fair share of Primes, Megatrons, Bees, and Elitas from multiple people, but now they're giving us 4 more, and another Bumblebee. These are Blokees kits from Transformers 1. They gave us Ironhide, Bumblebee, Starscream, Shockwave, and Soundwave. And these classic class or champion class or whatever they're calling them now, Clampion class, no, I'm not that good at that, are probably the best Blokees figures that they've produced so far, at least in their Transformers lineup. These, as alluded to in the intro, were sent over by Blokees. They've got a ton of Transformers related items on their site and more IPs if you're into more than just Transformers. They have these for about deluxe price, which is pretty good seeing as these are about the size of a deluxe and are fully involved model kits. Kits that are all tool-less, by the way, so definitely go check them out, links in the description below. Thank you very much, Blokees, for sending these my way. Now back to the actual toys. The builds were straightforward. If you ever made a model kit before, these are just that. But you don't need glue, stickers, or cutters. These are easy enough to pop off the sprue because they are designed to do so. It's advertised on the box. And they snap together. Nothing wants to really fall off of any of them. And they look great. I guess we'll start with Bee, considering I just talked about a Bee, so we'll just get him out of the way. Bumblebee looks incredible. The shiny ass gold, the gunmetal, it works so well. And those are like the only 2 major colors on him, save for the small bits of clear blue on the face and chest. Face, by the way, which has an expression, but I much prefer the optional battle mask head. He also comes with the knife hands and an extra set of hands and a base. You get quite a bit here for what you're paying, which is really nice. Articulation is also great, but I'm gonna do all of their articulation at the same time at the end of the video. Oh, and the chest also comes off and there's a light up T-cog behind there. That's neat. Next up, we have Ironhide, who is probably my least favorite of the 5 we've gotten so far. That doesn't mean he is bad, far from it. It just means I like the others a little bit more. You can clearly see the Bumblebee movie influence in here with the shape of the chest, so much so that Blokees gave him the generic Bumblebee movie gun, because Ironhide didn't actually have one in Transformers 1, but he has one in Bumblebee, so they just gave him that gun. I love the shiny metallic silver with the bright red. He also comes with extra hands and a base, and I'm also going to talk about the LEDs later, but I do want to talk about with this guy here, because the way it works in Ironhide's chest, it makes the inside of the chest feel bigger than it actually is. It's really hard to come across on camera, but like in person, this looks really nice. But that's the 2 Autobots. Now let's move on to these 3. Soundwave, Shockwave, and Starscream. That was a horrible transition into these 3. The 3 main Decepticons, well, the ones that aren't Megatron, which, by the way, these 4 look so good together. I think we'll save my favorite for last, so on to Starscream. He looks really cool and sleek with the traditional Starscream colors, but with some awesome new shapes to it. Lots of round edges like that V-neck chest and the lower arms, and the Bumblebee movie styled swooping down wings with the guns on them, which you can fold up a little bit. And with that on the back, he's still pretty well balanced. I am not a fan of the hip skirts though. They are one solid piece on each side, but the front goes with the side parts. So moving the legs forward means the hip skirt has to move all the way out, and it just looks weird to me. But just like the previous 2, he comes with extra hands and a base. And now let's get a bit blue with Soundwave. As I was building him, I was being blown away by the engineering of this kit. It was really neat to see it use ball joints to stick some of the armor on. It means that he's the easiest one to like make an inner frame out of if you just want to display him like that. Soundwave also has an opening chest, optional hands, a base, but no weapons. He just gets to beat the shit out of you. Love the silver, blue, and the bits of red and yellow throughout this guy. It's very traditional Soundwave. But now on to my favorite, and this is probably my favorite Blokees product that they've ever made, is Shockwave. This thing is so well done, minus one thing, but I'll get there in a minute. The colors, the rich, deep purple with that pink accent and the silver, it's like the best color combo, and it's like all metallic, sort of. He has massive feet, so he stays firmly planted on the ground or on the base if he's not pegged into it. He also comes with an optional hand, just one, because he's only got one hand, and he looks great striking a pose. But the thing I don't like is the hip wobble, which is probably a good time to lead into the articulation after I talk about the LEDs, because I almost forgot about that. Each figure has LEDs in the chest and the eyes. The Autobots light up okay. Their eyes don't really catch the light very well, but B's battle mask does kind of get that down a little bit better than his eyeballs. The Decepticons, though, their orange eyes catch that LED so well, and they look fantastic on them. It also, like, Starscream's silhouette just looks insane in the dark with his eyes lighting up. Starscream's chest, speaking of him, doesn't light up. The cockpit catching the light would have been really cool, but I don't know how they would have done that because it's on an articulation flap to get out of the way. Speaking of which, I love everything about Blokees, except whenever I'm filming with them, they tend to make a bit of a mess on the table. And that's not their fault. Anyways, I figured we'd start with the Autobots before we get to the Decepticons, because they're better than the Autobots. They're on the floor now. So these two come with these as well. You get an Elita vehicle mode and an Optimus Prime vehicle mode, and they have rolling wheels, so they do roll. And let's quickly just, I'm on the floor. There you go, there they are with their vehicle modes. Now I can put them together. So we'll start with Ironhide, because he probably has, not, well, of the two Autobots, he has the worst articulation, but it's just slightly awkward. So the head is on a ball joint, so you got really nice tilt, really nice up and down, and a full, rotation. Shoulders, they can do a full 360. They can go out that far. You also have a dedicated butterfly joint, so they can butterfly forward. You have bicep rotation, double bends at the elbows, wrists are on ball joints so they can rotate and they can go in and out. You do have a waist joint. The hips can go forward, they can go back, they can go in and out. He does have drop down hips, so you can pull them down. They all come together, and he has that same little hip wobble as Shockwave, but you have that, so the legs can now go full 90 forward and back. A little awkward to push in. He does have a little bit of rotation at the ball joint at the top here, and then above the knee rotation. The knees are weird because they click into place. I don't know why they click into place, but they click into place. He's the only one that does that, but the knees can bend more than 90 degrees, and then the heel bit can move, so the ankles can go down, they can go up, and he has ankle tilts. So, he's pretty good. It's just slightly awkward to get him to look nice, I find, especially because I want to get him into, like, oh, I'm holding the gun with two hands poses, and I can never make that look good. Like, it looks okay. Down here, it looks better. Like, if he's just holding it. I think it's the shoulders. I wish the shoulders could, like, move up a little bit. Not like this, but, like, I wish this was a ball joint so they could shift up a bit so it looked a bit more natural. It doesn't look as natural. Bumblebee here, we're going to leave the cannon arm on. He has that shoulder thing that I want. So the head, same sort of range at the ball joint. You can do whatever you want. Shoulders can rotate. The shoulder pad can move out of the way. They can go out that far. You do have that ball joint there, so you got that butterfly joint and that shifting up and down. He does have 90-degree bend at the elbow, wrist or bicep rotation. Both arms do have forearm rotation as well, just due to how this swaps out. And then the hands are on ball joints. You do have a waist joint, though it only goes about that far. The hips can go forward, they can go back, not as far as you'd want them to. They can go out. You have above the knee rotation, a really nice knee bend. That is probably the most satisfying of all these figures' knee bends. I love that. And then the ankles, they can go down a little bit. They can go up all the way because of this nice little slit here. And then you have an ankle tilt. Now, when you've slid it up all the way, you lose that ankle tilt because of how this channel works. But the ankles are on a slight angle to better assist you with that ankle tilt, so you get a bit more range, which I think is really cool. So Bumblebee, of all the Autobots, including Elita and Prime, is probably my favorite. Now let's bring in Starscream, probably the least posable of the three Decepticons you get, just simply because of how limiting this torso section is. So the head, ball joint as well. Not as much tilt as the Autobots, but you do get some, and you get rotation. Shoulders, they can rotate, they can go up that far. You've got that shifting sort of ball joint, so you get that butterfly hinge as well. double 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, bicep rotation, wrist ball joints. Now we get to the waist. So the waist rotates, and if you notice, it pushes the cockpit out of the way. I like that, but it only goes that far on either side. And then the hip skirts, as I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of how these work. I wish he did the drop down hips thing rather than this, but the hips can go forward only that far. They can go back, the butt flap does move out of the way, and they can go out. You have above the knee rotation, really stiff knee that bends just a little bit over 90 degrees. And the ankles can go down, up, pivot, and rotate. So you have all that. Oh, and the wings can flap, and then you can flare them out like this if you want to, but I believe in the movie they're folded up. So you just see this. But yeah, he's all right. I just wish he could do a little bit more in the waist. The waist, I think, is kind of limiting and makes his posing really awkward. Then we bring in the one that blew me away slightly, Soundwave. So the head, oh, well, first of all, the cannon can go up and down. The head, you get really nice range on that. There's so much range there. You can look up and down, tilt, rotate. Shoulders, you can do a full 360. They can go out that far. You have that same sort of ball joint thing, so that's your butterfly, and the shoulder pads can go down or up because of that, and that's what I wanted on Ironhide, this right here. You do have bicep rotation, single jointed elbows, wrist ball joint, waist joint. This is the only one that does drop down hips correctly. So I don't like the whole like both of them move at the same time. This one actually has hinges and ball joint stems on them, so you can shift one hip down if you want to. And that blew me away because this was the first one I ended up building. And like, what the hell? That's so cool. And then the hip can go forward that far. It can go back that far. It can go out that far. You have, again, that play at the ball joint, but you also have that rotation above the knee, a little bit over 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and the ankles can go down. They can't go up as far as I'd like them to, but he does have a really nice ankle tilt. So yeah, very posable Soundwave. He doesn't come with any weapons. So I find I don't take advantage of this articulation too much because of the lack of weapons, but he still looks really cool, and you can get him into some like really dynamic sort of standing poses. Let's see if I can get him in one real quick. There you go. That's a dynamic standing pose. He fell over. Now we get to the most articulated one of the bunch, Shockwave. Now if you notice, I lost this piece while building it. That's completely my fault. The elbow still works. It's not going to come off. It's really tight in here, but I did lose the little cap. Oh well. His head is on a very nice ball joint for his shape. You'd think it wouldn't be able to tilt, but you can get so much range out of that, and you can look up and down and rotate. The shoulders are my favorite part. So they can rotate, and they're on that ball jointy thing, but because there's like 3 hinges in here, you can shift them all the way down or shift them like all the way up, so you can get like these shoulder pads. They move independently of this arm that moves independently from this whole joint. So there's so much movement here. It's awesome. You get that bicep rotation, that 90-degree elbow bend. This doesn't do anything, but the wrist is on a ball joint. You got that waist joint. Again, he does the Ironhide drop down hips of them both moving, which is why it wobbles. But the hips can go forward, they can go back, they can go in and out. You have above the knee rotation. You have a nice knee bend, not as nice as Bumblebee's, but it is really nice. And the ankles can go down, they can go up, and you have a little ankle pivot. The armor does bump into things, and it does sort of limit the ankle tilt to be only that, but everything else I really, come on hips, everything else I really like about this, especially the shoulders. The shoulders are fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely recommend at least one. They're really quick and fun builds, and you can paint them if you want more detail because they are models, but they are affordable versions of these characters that look great, pose great, come with a fair amount of stuff and interlocking bases. I think from my favorite to my least favorite, we're going Shockwave, Soundwave, Bumblebee, Starscream, Ironhide. Ironhide and Starscream are just a tiny bit awkward. But thanks again to Blokees for sending this my way, and that's been my look at Blokees TF1 Champion, Classic Class, whatever the hell they're calling them figures. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.